Hello, and welcome everybody to our iBUG Buzz for Monday night, February the 27th. And this is episode number 573 of this call. My name is Marie Nelson, and I will be facilitating tonight along with Sandhya Rao. And this call is dedicated to all things iOS, and that includes your iPhone, your iPod, your iPad, your Apple Watch, or your Apple TV. We're also going to be able to discuss accessories for all of these devices, as well as some of the apps that we use. And the main purpose of this call is to let you become more comfortable and more experienced with using all of the wonderful accessibility features that come with our iOS devices. So, before we get started on our Q&A session, we're going to ask our fearsome leader, that's our fearless leader, Sandhya Rao, to apprise us of all of the exciting events coming up in the near future. So, Sandhya, if you're ready,
I am ready. Thank you, Marie. Yes, we have another busy week. Okay, so all times are central and everything is on Zoom unless specified otherwise. So for the next 2 hours, it's the buzz. Like Marie said, at the midpoint, we'll have our big reveal of the movie coming up and those fabulous clues and prizes. So stick around for that. Test your knowledge of movie trivia. Tomorrow we have 2 events. On Tuesday at 5, we have the iBUG mini buzz on Clubhouse, kind of a continuation of what we're doing today. So, think of something in the middle of the night, write it down, and come back tomorrow. And then at 7 p.m., we have Mac and Talk. So all things related to your back, even if you don't have one, if you're wondering whether you should get one, what is the learning curve like, all those kind of questions, we will entertain at that call. Then, thank goodness, we are off on Wednesday, and get ready. Thursday, we have iBUG Trekkie Talk discussing the Next Generation Season 6. Episodes 2 and 3. That's at 8 p.m., 8 to 9:30, and sometimes beyond that. Then on Friday is iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies, starting at 8 p.m., an audio described movie. And the social time is 7:30. We have some Name That Tune, some bad jokes, lots of general silliness involved. And then after the movie, we have a discussion and trivia. So come for that on Friday. Saturday, we have iBUG Unplugged. And this will be a fun topic. Again, this is one of our non-training. It's totally social. Get to know your fellow iBUG members, maybe more than you want to know. And that will be on Saturday at 8 p.m. And we're going to be talking about our favorite things. So that should be fun. And I will spare you singing the Julie Andrews, My Favorite Things, okay? Because I can't sing. And then I just wanted to thank everybody for helping with the iBUG Apple workshop. We just had it this Saturday, and we had a demo of how to use Wi-Fi with Herbie. And then we had the fitness app that there's a lot of interest in, those health buffs. And that was from Carla, all the way from the UK. We were so grateful for their contributions. So definitely check that out. It should be up on our website fairly soon. Okay, social media. Our website is ibugtoday.org. iBUGTODAY.org is the best place to get all the information. Definitely register, and then you'll get information, notifications, email, lists of all upcoming events, all that good stuff right in your inbox. So it can't be any easier. There's no cost to register, and none of our services have a charge. Follow us on Twitter at iBugToday, Instagram at iBugToday, Facebook.com/group/iBugToday. You can pose questions and help answer other people's questions. If you have an inquiry other than a tech inquiry, you can send an email to ibugtoday@gmail.com. all technical questions are answered on our various training sessions. And some exciting news. We mentioned on Saturday that we are going to start our iBUG shopping spree. It's our raffle that we'll be having. More details will be following. You know, we are a nonprofit, so be looking out for the information. The winner of that $500 gift card will be announced at our 12th anniversary in May. So be looking out for that. All right, I think that's it, Marie. I'm going to hand it back to you. That's what's going on in the iBUG world today.
Okay, it's very exciting. We always have lots going on in iBUG. Before we get started with our Q&A session, I'd like to have everybody unmuted, and if you would unmute, say your name and where you're from, and if you're new to iBUG or to this call, please let us know.
Jody in New Hampshire.
Hi, Jody and Julie.
This is Herbie in Houston.
Hi, Herbie.
Nancy Stevens from Bend.
Nancy, and was that Brad?
Yes, Brad.
Vincent, New Jersey.
Hi, Vincent.
Hi.
Dana.
Hello, Dana. From Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Gary.
Gary, welcome. Where are you from, Gary?
Austin.
Austin. All right.
Desi in Phoenix. For
Okay, now. Judy and who from Phoenix?
Desi.
Desi. Hi, Desi. Welcome.
Hello.
Gary from Arlington.
Two people at a time, and I'm not good enough at hearing to know who it was.
Terry from Arlington Heights.
Hi, Terry.
Somebody from Fort Worth.
Liz. Liz from Fort Worth. Yes. Yep. Okay. Welcome, both of you.
Helene from Arizona.
Hi, Helene.
Linda from Texas. Illinois.
Okay, welcome.
This is Ned from Texas.
Hi, Ned. We have anybody else?
Janet in Colorado.
Hi, Janet.
Lisa in Porter, Texas.
Lisa and who?
Shri from Virginia.
Oh, hi, Shri. Excuse me. Anybody else?
This is Nancy. My mentee might be on and might not be able to be unmuted. She was having a little trouble with that. So.
Okay, and who is your mentee, Nancy?
Her name is Rosetta from Georgia.
And is she new?
She is new.
All right. Well, Rosetta, if you can get unmuted, we welcome you to iBUG.
This is Greg in Texas.
Hi, Greg.
Sandhya in Houston.
Sandhya? And I didn't hear you.
Chanel in Houston. Chanel. Sorry.
And I'm Marie from Reno. Well, I'm originally from Fort Worth. I just happen to live in Reno now. Okay, if we don't have any more, we're ready to take on some great questions. And there are no dumb questions. If you have a question, just come right out with it because we welcome all, any and all. Oh, did we have anybody who is new? Other than Rosetta. Okay, let's go ahead. Who has our first question?
I have one. It's Judy in Connecticut.
Okay, Judy, go ahead.
Okay. So I've been learning about having my own Zoom room and how to share content and how to switch the host. And so one of the things I learned how to do was to share like an audio meditation. And that worked fine. Then I actually learned how to go to YouTube and share some different things on YouTube. But I was told, and this is what I want to find out if this is true, if there's something that I want to share, and this would be like with another blind person that has, voiceover, I can't share anything where voiceover is reading. Is that correct? Can anybody verify that that's true? Anything that voiceover reads cannot be screen shared and heard. Is that right?
Okay, who has an answer for Judy?
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So it probably, I don't know, because I had the weirdest experience where the first time I ever did a screen share with the iPhone with Zoom, I could get my voiceover to come through, and then in the middle of the survey that I was in the middle of, it suddenly stopped transmitting and has not worked the few times I've tried it since. So I don't think it's possible. However, I won't go into details here because this is not the appropriate call, but we can talk off list there. If you really want to share voiceover on your phone, since you are a Mac user, if you have loopback, I can give you an alternative, or there's a couple ways, even without loopback, that you could share your voiceover using a computer and screen share.
Okay. All right, Herbie. Thank you. And I had one other piece of a question connected to that. Is that okay to ask?
Okay. Does anybody else have any additional response to her first question before we go on?
This is Brad.
Maybe. Go ahead, Brad.
I thought you're talking about sharing on using Zoom, correct?
Yeah, on the Zoom using my iPhone. Yeah.
I thought if you enabled original sound that on your end, that when you did a screen share that the voiceover would go through.
Oh,
but I haven't done it.
Where's
in
that
a long,
located?
long time.
Okay, Herbie.
So I don't know. I should give that a try again. What original sound will do is it'll let your voiceover be heard through like the speakerphone. That will definitely work, but it means the other person is also going to hear themselves echoing back. So I only recommend that method for a one-way demonstration where the other person doesn't need to say anything.
Oh,
and you have to make sure that it's enabled in your account in Safari first, but then you will find the option to enable original sound under the More button.
Oh, okay.
But you do need to go to your advanced meeting settings in Zoom and make sure that the box is checked to allow for original sound while in meetings. First.
Okay, Judy, you had a second little question?
A teeny little one, yeah. I haven't tried it yet, but my friend tried it. And we were trying to play a song that we had bought from iTunes with, our $1.29. And she was having trouble. She couldn't play it. Now, was that just operator error? I haven't tried it yet. Should I be able to play a song that I have purchased in my iTunes library, my music library?
Who has a quick question for Judy? That should be an easy one.
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
You went to the iTunes store and bought a song, correct?
Yep, right.
It should show up in your library.
Yeah.
I mean, you did download it.
Yep, it's in my library.
Bought it.
I should.
It downloads.
Yeah.
And then.
So I should be able to share it.
No. What do you mean by share it?
On the screen share. When I'm on a Zoom meeting. Since I bought.
This is Nancy.
Again, you go back to like we did. You should. Well, one of the problems iPhones have, I believe, is music. I haven't.
This is Nancy.
Maybe Nancy's tried this.
Okay, go ahead, Nancy.
Okay, I want to go rewind just for a second back to the original sound. So Judy, if you do enable original sound, you can also play your guitar and it'll come through better on Zoom. So you can play and sing. And that's what original sound does, is let's do that. So just so you know that. But also, I think if the other person doesn't have iTunes, it's really hard with copyright. It's really hard to share songs over the internet from Apple. That's
even
what
if I own it, right?
Yeah, because the other person doesn't. So yeah, that's what I've heard.
Herbie.
Okay. Go ahead, Herbie.
So, Judy, I think we're going to need to really take this offline. I do apologize because we're getting into some really technical things here. But what you could use instead of Zoom and the screen share for the music situation is try the share play option within FaceTime video. And that would, if you both have Apple Music, and I've not played with it, so I don't know how well it works for like paid songs or whatever. But that would be your best bet to be able to both be able to hear a track at the same time is with the share play through FaceTime video.
All right, let's keep going.
Okay, could we move on to another subject?
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Next question. Have a new question? Liz? Yes, go ahead, Liz.
Okay, I was just reading my email and I was reading one from Ira, and so now I have a question. If anybody knows the difference between Ira Explorer, which is their new app, and Ira Legacy, which is the current version. So they said the current version that we use now won't be available to download after March 1st. So I'm trying to figure out if it's better to stay with what I have or to go to the Explorer version.
This is Brad.
Okay, Brad.
That information applies to Android. The new Ira app is not available for iOS yet. If you go back and read it closely, it's talking about for Android. They sent out one a little while back on that. So that's an Android thing. For now, the app they are calling Ira Legacy, which is the app they've had for several years, is the only one that's available on iOS. So it's not going anywhere for a little while till they get the new one out. But even if they do come out with a new one, that doesn't mean that the one you've got is going to immediately stop working. It may stop after a while, but you're fine for now.
Okay, I was confused on what the difference would be, but now I know. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Who has a new one?
Elisa.
We're moving right along. Go ahead, Elisa. Answer for that.
This is Sandhya. Are you saying pin message?
Yeah, like at the top, you know how you say you can pin Sandhya's message.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's what I thought you were saying. So pin means that if you talk to certain people, then you talk to your whatever family or whatever all the time, then you can pin that person's conversation, and then that will always appear at the top, so you don't have to go through all of your different conversations. So it's pin, P-I-N, pin the conversation to the top of your list of text messages.
Who has the next wonderful question?
Dana.
Go ahead.
What if you go to a site or somewhere that needs a password and your password is in the keychain and you don't want to type your password out? How do you get to your keychain to get that list of passwords?
Okay, who can answer a keychain question?
Nobody wants to answer my
question.
This
is Brad.
Okay, go ahead, Brad.
I'm trying not to answer, but it should, Dana, if you've got that password saved in your keychain, it should appear right above your keyboard, your little virtual keyboard on the screen and on your phone.
Yeah,
if it's in there, that's where it should appear. Now, sometimes if you've saved it for a website, it may not appear in the app, but sometimes they do. You know, some things have a web access and an app access. Some will do that and some don't. If you've and when you do it in an app, you may not get prompted to save it in keychain. But if it's going to be available to you, it will show up right above the keyboard.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
Dana's comment made me think of something. I read an article this week on the Wall Street Journal where they're talking about people stealing other people's iPhone, and they're able to access the iPhone because they're able to figure out the security passcode. And I'm just giving a heads up, since we're blind, we typically have our voiceover on while we're entering our 4 6-digit code. Just be very careful that if somebody hears that code and they take your phone, according to the Wall Street Journal, they pretty much have access to your phone. And a lot of people are getting their phones locked out once they have access to the phone.
This is Herbie with a quick add-on.
Okay. Go ahead,
Just a reminder that headphones are your friend in this type of situation, and braille displays can also be, but headphones are really your friend, and the screen curtain, because if you have headphones on and your screen curtain on, I mean, I guess I don't, somebody cited can confirm or deny this, but I would think it would be really hard for somebody visually to determine where you are tapping on your phone when typing in a code. And of course, that's where also Face ID and Fingerprint ID can really come in handy as well. So you're not typing in your passcode, but
this is Dana.
Unique advantages there.
Okay, Dana, and then we're going to move on. Go ahead.
Yeah, one more thing. If you know your print numbers, you could also go to handwriting and write with your finger the passcode.
True, and the screen reader the screen curtain is a great protector for you. Okay, do we have another question?
Yes, Jerry.
Go ahead, Jerry.
I've got a quick question. I'm wondering if there's any way of getting rid of when you accidentally do the 2-finger double tap. Right now in my notification center, it says iPhone not playing and player pause, but there's nothing to play. It says like there's nothing there. I'm wondering if there's any way of getting rid of that other than turning off the phone.
This is Nancy.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Not really sure I have an answer for that. I've heard that there's a bug, and one of the things that's happening, I don't know if it's happening to anyone else, but when I'm using the 2-finger double tap to dictate, when I double tap to end dictation, the music is coming on. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that. And then I'm trying to listen to what I've just dictated, and I've got the music going. So I have to go to the home screen to turn off the music and then go back to the message to listen to what I've just dictated. So I know that's not exactly what you're asking, but that's somebody said there's a bug with dictation and with that 2-finger magic tap right now, that it's turning on music. Even if you close the music, it's still somehow bringing it up.
I think that's maybe not addressing his particular problem, and I don't usually like to answer questions, but I will say that I've had this problem with the double tap for infinity.
Yeah,
this is Terry.
Go ahead, Brad, and then Terry.
Let Terry go.
Okay, Terry, go ahead.
I have had the same problem that Jerry is describing, and I'm thinking it's a bug as well. I guess that's all I want to say. I can confirm that it's been a problem for me too.
Okay. It's always nice to know you're not alone. Go ahead, Brad. Do you have
Yeah, this has been really prevalent, especially in iOS 16. I've experienced it before, but it's been happens much more frequently since iOS 16. And I find I can't double tap and stop the music playing when I'm in the app. So I find, I have a home without a home button. So I swipe up to collapse the app and take me back to the home screen, kind of like Nancy mentioned, or if you've got a SE with a home button, just hit that home button and minimize your current app and take you to the home button, and then do a double tap real quick. And then, yes, you have to open up the app switcher, go back to the app you were on to continue doing whatever you were doing. And as far as double tapping the screen, I've been experiencing that where it will play music, or if I was last using my podcast app or something like that, it tends to start playing something randomly. Maybe what I was listening to, maybe something else. And I don't know if that's by design or what. I don't care for it. I wish there was a way to disable it. But yeah, there's certainly a bug is what it is.
Okay.
This is Helene.
Go ahead, Helene.
I don't really listen to music, but if I do that magic tap, it plays my book from Bard. That's what the two finger, if I'm trying to dictate and I do that. Yeah, and it does do that. It plays up the book that I was listening to.
Does somebody have an explanation for Helene on that one? Rather
Sounds
than
like a
music,
bug.
she's hearing her Bard book. That if you've been listening to it, I assume. Correct,
No,
Helene? You've been listening to Bard?
Well, I'll have the Bard obviously in the background somewhere, and then a couple. If I do a dictation on an email, it will suddenly start playing the book.
This is Terry.
Okay, Terry.
I have a theory about that. It will, if I do the magic tap, excuse me, it will start playing the last thing I listen to, whether it's Bard or a radio station or music, whatever it is. And I think when you're doing the dictate feature, you can also use the magic tap to dictate. And so when you're doing a dictation, the phone is confused. It doesn't know whether you want to dictate something or whether you want to play whatever the last audio thing is that you last played. And so it resorts to that. I've not officially read that anywhere, but it makes sense because both of those things use that magic tap function.
Okay.
This is Sri.
Anybody else? Okay, Sri, go ahead.
I think the real issue here is I think it's a bug because if you could visually see it, whenever we do it, when we go to text field, we double tap and get the insertion point, we get the virtual keyboard. Otherwise, the virtual keyboard never shows up. So when we do a double tap and we have an insertion point, we have the virtual keyboard and the magic tap inserts the recording, the start of the recording. What I've noticed is the virtual keyboard is still there. So even though I'm dictating, I stop dictating, I double tap, now the music starts playing, the virtual keyboard is there. And if I go to the microphone on the bottom right and double tap, then the music stops, then my dictation starts. So somehow there is a cross between the two. And in the past, when you have the insertion point on a text field, you have a virtual keyboard. And when you don't have an insertion point, you don't get the virtual keyboard. In this case, the music is playing with the virtual keyboard.
All right, I think we can go on.
Okay. Next question. Go ahead.
So I have been getting staff meeting Zoom recordings, and they have a password. And when I try to put the password in and play the recording, I copy the password with the 3-finger quadruple tap and copy that password over, and then find where the edit box is. I paste it in, and then I try to play the recording, and it doesn't let me do that. So has anyone else had any experience with this where you have to put a password in, and does anybody have any suggestions on how to make it cooperate?
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So the issue then you're having is like you try to enter in the password and it isn't registering.
That's what it seems like to me. Yeah.
This is Roy.
Go ahead, Roy.
Hey, Nancy. I wonder if you selected each character, using the text selection feature instead of the 3-finger quadruple tap. Maybe you're picking up an extra space by mistake.
That's a good thought. I'll try that. Okay, thanks.
This is Terry.
Go ahead, Terry, and then we'll move on.
A problem I've had is a cursor issue. When you want to enter text, whether it's text that you've copied and you know it's correct, or text that you're entering by hand, you have to make sure that your cursor is at the very top of the text, that at the very top of where you want to enter the text, or it doesn't seem to work.
Okay, who has another question for us? We're moving right along today. Got a lot of
Dee.
questions answered. Okay, Dee, go ahead.
Okay. Yesterday I deleted a bunch of messages out of my message app. And I noticed today I received a message from someone, and VoiceOver spoke her name, but in the message app itself, it did not register her name. It just had her phone number there. In fact, I had that happen twice today. And they are in my contacts. So anybody have a idea why that's happening?
Okay, who has an answer for D?
This is Nancy. And then I'll stop answering. It's interesting because I have had this issue where sometimes in messages it will just read the phone number for the person. I have to turn off my phone and turn it back on, and then it will start. It somehow I don't know what it does in contacts, but it just switches to reading the phone numbers. And if I turn my phone off and turn it back on, it goes back to reading the person's name in the messages. So that's what I found to fix it.
Okay,
Sorry.
does anybody have a different answer or a way to fix this problem without having to turn your phone off and on? Or has run across this problem?
This is Desi.
Go ahead, Desi.
I had this happen to me the other day, and what I did was go out of my messages app back to the home screen, and then I opened my contacts, and I found the person whose name should have been mentioned, and I double tapped on that, and then I then I went back into my messages app, and the name showed up. So it must be some kind of a bug, but I have had that happen too, and it's really weird because, like you said, I thought, well, that person's in my contacts. Why am I just seeing the number? And then, but once I highlighted her in my contacts, then it came back up again, and now I have not had that problem when we've gotten other messages that were both to me and to another woman besides this woman whose number it was. They've come up just fine. So it's a weird thing.
Okay, thanks, Desi. Anybody else have an answer for her? Okay, do we have another question?
Dana.
Go ahead, Dana.
Again. Totally different question. I just received my first Apple iWatch, and I am wondering, how do you power it off? Like if you're in a place that asks you to be quiet, I know how to do the 2-finger single tap to mute it, but how do you power it off?
Okay, one of our watch experts. Go ahead, Brad.
This is tricky because they don't make it simple.
Okay.
But here's what I figured out to do, because I've done it wrong and I've ended up calling 911 and all kinds of other things that I didn't mean to do. Because sometimes I have a bug where my watch, all of a sudden, there's no voiceover and I have to power it off, power it on. So I had to study what I need to do so I can do it without any speech. Okay, first thing you do, on the side of your watch, you got 2 buttons. One's a big round crown. That's a button and a little turny dial thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then below that, you have a flat button. Okay.
Okay.
You're going to press and hold the flat button.
Okay.
And if your watch is behaving, you should receive some kind of a haptic vibration. Okay.
Okay.
When you feel
Okay.
that, let go. You have now brought up a screen that has several choices on it. The top choice is power. And you can get to that by swiping to the left.
Okay.
And if you go all the way to the left, and I think there are 4 choices on the screen, plus there is a cancel button in the top left. So you should have 5 total choices on the screen, if I'm correct. But
Okay.
I know that from what I would do when I had no voiceover is I would just swipe to the left a bunch of times, knowing that I did 5 and then some. So I'm on that cancel button. And then I would swipe once to the right, and now I'm on the top choice. But if you got voiceover working, it'll tell you what the choices are. But
Okay.
power
Great.
is the top one. And then you'll double tap, and then you've got another screen where you confirm, and down at the bottom is the power button, and you can locate it by swiping to the right, and you'll get to the bottom, and then you'll confirm by doing a 1-finger double tap. I believe the other choice on there is cancel, don't power off. So try it that way. Try doing that and see if that works for you.
All right.
This
Thanks,
is
Brad.
Terry.
Wow. Confusing.
Okay, who was that?
This is Terry.
Okay, Terry, go ahead.
One thing I do quite often, and it fills the bill without having to turn the watch off, is to triple click the home button. Sorry, not the home button. Triple click the crown to turn voiceover off. And when you turn voiceover off, of course, that turns off your speech and it turns off, all the other things. So you're in effect using the watch as though you were able to see the screen. And then you don't have to go through all the rigmarole of trying to turn off the power and that kind of thing. That seems to work for me. And then when you want voiceover back on, you triple click the crown again quickly, and voiceover should come back on. The only caveat to that is that you have to make sure that your watch, just like with your phone, is set up in settings to do that, to use that function. But that works for me, and it's so much easier.
This is Nancy.
Okay, Nancy, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Dana, it sounds like what you want to do is you don't necessarily need to turn off your phone, but you do need to silence it. And if you go to Control Center, if you go to the watch face and then do 2-finger swipe up to get to the Control Center, you can go to silence mode and theater mode also. And that will let you silence your watch.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, another good question. Where's our next question? We're getting close to that great reveal time, folks.
This is Helene.
Go ahead, Helene.
I just wanted to tell Dana that my watch, when that happens, I just hit the crown button and I say shut voiceover off, and it says shutting voiceover. And that's been working. I don't use the watch that often. But I do have a question. May I ask another question?
Sure, go ahead.
My phone must have a setting on it that has, when messages are delivered, it says you have an iMessage. But then I have to say to Siri, read my message. And I realize it might be doing it, to be protective because it doesn't want to read all my messages out loud. But where is this setting? And if I want to, and I'm alone, where I would like my message, you have a message from Devin, and then it will tell me what the message is.
Somebody have an answer for Helene?
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
It's probably a notification center, and there's a couple of ways to get there. Probably the easiest is 1-finger swipe up, either up or down on the screen. It'll say watch face. It'll say control center, and it'll say notifications. And when it says notifications, you do a one finger double tap and it'll open, and you'll probably find it there.
Anybody else have an answer for Helene? Helene, was that on an watch or an iPhone?
On my iPhone.
Well, I thought she was talking about the watch.
No, the one I don't.
This is on her iPhone.
Same thing. Well, on the phone, you open the notification center. It'll also be there. If you touch the status bar and do 3-finger swipe down, you should get your notification center, and it should be there.
Yeah, are you? Yeah, I guess I'm still not understanding what will be there. I know the message is somewhere and I can get the message, but if I wanted the message to be just read to me, you have a message, can it just read it to me, or is that a separate setting that I have to set?
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
You think you gotta access the message. You're on your phone. You get a notification that you got a text message or iMessage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be there and it's going to go away. If your phone's locked, you may have it set so the notifications could be on the lock screen, but if you're in your phone's unlocked, it's going to give you a notification. It's going to go away. You got two choices. You can either open messages and get to it that way, or you can access notification center, and it should show up there. Like I said, if you're on your phone, if it's unlocked, touch the status bar with one finger and then swipe down with 3.
This is Terry.
It will open notification center, and it will show you, the most recent notifications are up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And there could be, more than just what you heard. There could be several things in there that you hadn't responded to.
This is Terry.
Okay, could we have somebody else answer
I'm
a question?
sorry. Yeah.
Anybody else out there that can answer, Helene? Okay, go ahead, Terry.
I have my phone set, and I have to do it in settings. I have my phone set so that when I get a message, it automatically reads the message to me, even when my screen is locked. And I can go and I'll be glad to go and check to see exactly what I did to make that happen, because it's been a while. I think that's what you're asking. You want it to read automatically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have mine set to do that, and you can. So I'll do that. I'll look for that and get back to you hopefully today.
Can someone just tell me the difference between iMessage and message?
Okay, somebody got an answer here. Go ahead.
This is Chanel. So iMessages are messages typically that you can send from iPhone to iPhone.
My audio is unmuted.
And regular messages are what are called SMS, and those you can just those typically come from people who use Androids or other smartphones.
Okay. Do we have a new question?
This is Rosetta Brown. Hi. Hi, Nancy.
Hello,
Hi,
Rosetta.
everybody.
I understand
I've been
you're
trying
new.
to get in for the last, I don't know how long.
The first one at the bottom.
Rosetta,
and
how did you hear about iBUG?
I heard about iBUG when it came to an NFB virtual convention 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I heard my mentor, Nancy, on tonight.
Okay, well, welcome to iBUG. We're glad to have you in our community.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy it here.
Okay,
Did you have a question for us?
Yes, I have a question. My question is, earlier you all were talking about when how do I put this? When the music comes on, the Apple Music, and you try to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so today I text a message. I was trying to text the message, and that music came on, and it sounded like it was going with the text message, and I didn't know how to get it out. So I canceled the text message, but every time I tried to text the message, that Apple Music would come, and it appeared to me that it was becoming part of my text message. Is that true, or what do I do about that?
Okay, this sounds like a good question. So who's got an answer for this one?
Jody.
Okay, Jody, go ahead.
Yes, welcome to iBUG.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, no, it does not get included with your message. Don't worry about that at all. Actually, because of copyright problems, like we were talking about before, you couldn't do it if you wanted to. We already covered this, but basically what you want to do is, well, what kind of phone do you have?
I have an iPhone SE.
Okay, so you have the button then at the bottom. So
Yes.
when you're in messages, the best idea is just hit the home button until you come back to your home screen so that all of the other, icons are on the screen. And then and then you can do the 2-finger double tap to stop the music, and then go back and open your messages app and go back to your text field again, and you should be okay.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't get in when you were talking about it.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I understand. It was a very good question.
Thank you.
But don't worry, that the music is not going to be shared with your text message.
Oh, great. That's wonderful.
Okay. Good deal, and welcome, Rosetta. We have time for maybe one more question, maybe two?
It's Claudia.
Claudia, go ahead.
Hi, I'm having a really big bug on my Apple Watch. There's this voice on my watch. Sometimes I set it up to not say the seconds, and sometimes it says seconds. So I changed the voice on my watch to one of the Siri voices. And then after that, when the battery's low, when I charge my watch, it goes to the Samantha voice. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, somebody have an answer for this one. The watch changing voices.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
I was just going to say, Claudia, regarding about it playing the minutes, there is a settings that you can go into on your phone for the watch. Just when you go to the watch app, go ahead and go to, it might be under the accessibility settings where you're telling it to tell the chime or telling the watch to play the seconds. Like, is it playing the seconds? Like it'll say 2 minutes, 54 seconds, like that?
No, it's playing like, say it's 7:54, and if it's doing that, it says 7 minutes 54 seconds.
So it's saying the word seconds. Is that what you're talking about? Or
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I have the seconds turned off.
Okay.
So I don't know why it's saying that.
Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
One thing you could try is switching to a different face that doesn't display the seconds and see if you still have that problem.
I have done everything I could. I've switched faces. I've switched. I've turned off the seconds. I don't know what else to do.
So it tells you the seconds when you check the time?
No, not every time. It just does it like out of nowhere.
Did you enable any extra clock apps on your phone or anything, or your watch or anything like that?
No, I do have a clock app on my phone that like it's tell them the hour like every hour, but that's not connected to my watch.
Okay, so okay, so you've made sure there's no watch app equivalent on the watch there.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
Claudia, did you try turning it on and turning it back off and see if it goes away? Sometimes, turning on and off start, something with the watch?
Yeah. Well, no, I might try that. What I found out that goes away, to make it go away for sure, is change the voices. But yeah, I think I'll try that again, see what happens.
Okay. Somebody have a really quick question because we only got about 2 or 3 minutes to go.
This is Terry with a tip.
Go ahead, Terry.
The other day I was out and about, and all of a sudden I had no internet and on my watch, and I should have because I have a watch with the data plan. So I eventually remembered I had to turn the watch, the phone. I had no internet on my phone. I had to turn the phone off and turn it back on again. And so that is often a thing that you can do to reset your phone to whatever it's supposed to be doing for lots of things, including what the previous, I forget her name now, the Claudia. Was asking about. When in doubt, turn your device, or whether it's your phone or your watch, turn it off and then turn it back on again and see if that clears up whatever the problem is. And I seem to have to do that more often now.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
Terry, are you talking about you lost cell service when you were out about?
Yes, that's exactly what I lost. Everything, cell service, internet, everything.
Wow.
But I turned the phone off and then turned it back on, and everything was fine. Never had that happen before.
Okay, I believe it is time for Michael and the great reveal to begin.
All right. Thank you, Marie. Thank you very much. Jam-packed, lots of good questions. And now we would like to give anybody who didn't get to say hello the first time around to say who you are and where you're from, please.
Ed from Georgetown.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Kathy from Tulsa.
Welcome, Kathy.
Angelo in Ottawa.
Welcome, sir. Okay.
This is David from Houston.
Hey, David. Welcome. Nope.
Marvin from Chicago.
Hello, Marvin. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Glad you're here. Oh, let's see. What do we have? We're going to have iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies on Friday at 8 p.m. Social time at 7:30. Discussion and trivia after the movie. And you might say, what is the movie? Yeah, I don't know. Let's find out. And with those marvelous clues, iBUG guy, are you there?
I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's when my love comes tumbling down. I'm gonna wait till
Yes, I'm back.
Oh, you're back.
We are gonna have some fun tonight, but first I want to thank Stephen who filled in for me last week. He did a wonderful job. And so with that, we are getting ready to give clues for tonight's, for the movie for this Friday. We're going to have several clues. You get, the rules are say your name before you guess the title. Well, say your name and wait to be recognized before you guess the title. And then also you get one guess per clue. So let's get to it for
Oh, God.
All right. Here we go. We have clues provided by who? I don't who provided these. Well, whoever provided them, I'm sure they're good. So here we go for clue number one. This week's film is set in the 1950s in one of our favorite cities on the East Coast. Film is set in the 50s in one of our favorite cities on the the East Coast. So, anything working out there? Hello?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nikki will
give a stab at it. Yeah.
All right. Just checking.
Nikki will give a stab at it.
All right, give us a stab.
Elliot Ness.
Elliot Ness. What a good stab. In the dark, and you are still in the dark. Sorry, good try. All right, moving on to clue number 2. It broaches one of the most enlightened elements of our Constitution.
Wow. What?
The film broaches one of the most enlightened elements of our Constitution.
Oh, darn.
This is Shri.
Ooh, Shri.
Is it Mississippi Burning?
Mississippi Burning. Mississippi is really close to the East Coast. Not?
Is it?
No.
East Coast.
They moved Mississippi.
I thought,
Yeah, just
I
for
thought
us.
he was going to say
Minor
Transformers.
detail. Minor detail.
All right, anybody else?
He tried.
He tried. At least he's not saying what we thought he was going to say.
Okay.
All right. I guess we're going to move on to clue number 3. This is a film where tension comes from personality, conflict. Wait, let me read that again. This is a film where tension comes from personality conflict, dialogue, and body language, not action.
This is Greg.
Greg, go for it.
How about The Way We Were?
The way we were. Did that take place in New York? Maybe. Maybe not. But in any case, Greg, you are not right this time. Good try.
So close. Not really.
Anybody else want to take a guess?
This Kathy.
Oh, Kathy.
Kathy.
Is it Raisin in the Sun?
Raisin in the Sun.
That might have been Chicago.
Raisin.
But it could have been New York.
It could have been.
It's Chicago.
But I heard it was in Chicago, so not on the East Coast. Good try, Kathy.
Janet from Colorado.
Go ahead, Janet from Colorado.
Made in Manhattan.
Made in Manhattan. Is that the Woody Allen one? No.
I have no idea.
No,
but I'm
just
probably wrong.
Manhattan.
But oh well.
Manhattan is the Woody Allen one. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Manhattan is correct, but that's not the film we're watching this week.
This is Shri.
Shri.
Rumble in the Bronx.
Rumble in the Bronx. Got the right city this time, Shri.
There's a lot of hand action there.
But I think it has too much action for this film. Hard to have a rumble with no action.
I think he's making these movie titles up.
That's a Jackie Chan movie.
All right. Anybody else want to give it a try before we move on to the next clue?
This is Dana.
Dana.
Yeah, it's that movie we haven't seen before.
Oh, that one.
That is
one.
so close.
That's it.
So good.
The movie we have not.
It takes place in New York in the 1950s.
There you go. What else can you ask for?
It has something to do with our Constitution.
All right, here we go. Moving on. Clue number 4. It is a film where logic, emotion, and prejudices struggle to control the field. Huh?
Oh, what?
It is a film where logic, emotion, and prejudices struggle to control the field.
Kathy?
Kathy!
Is it 12 Angry Men?
12 Angry Men. Does that take place in New York?
I don't know.
Too. Well, good try, Kathy. Ding, 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 ding. Yes. 12 Angry Men.
All right. Get out of here.
Correct.
Wow.
Good
job.
On clue number 4, Kathy is a winner. Winner. Chicken dinner. Yes. All right. And just for that, Johnny, tell Kathy what she's going to win tonight.
Okay, Kathy.
I don't want to win an Angry Man.
You're let alone 12 of them. Okay, no. It's better than that. You are going to have a room full of beat up jury assembly furniture. It's beautifully old, gently used. A long briefing table with very roughly used tables that go around the chairs that go around the table. And then it gets even better. You will have your very own Baltimore Orioles baseball cap. I know that has nothing to do with the vintage furniture, but that is what you got. Thank you very much, Kathy, for playing today. You did a good job.
And by the way, this is the original film from 1957, starring Peter Fonda and
not Peter.
Oh, not Peter. Henry. Yes, we're off a generation there.
Is Jack Klugman in it? I mean,
yes.
Oh, okay.
There's lots of good people in it. So
okay. Several great people. Yes.
All right. Very good, Mr. McCulloch. You want to say goodnight? All right. There he goes. Good job. And we are finished with the movie Michael's movie Minutia. We survived. All right, now order has been restored. Get it? Order. Okay, now Miss Marie, we have a busy second hour. We have the iBUG Bite segment, and then we will have the iToys segment at 8:30. So we have lots to get through. So go for it, Marie. What you got?
Okay. On Sandhya's recommendation, I'm going to give a quick little demonstration.
Fine. Throw me under the bus. Okay.
of the different ways of typing on your new shiny iPhone. And it gets confusing in the beginning. The default typing mode, which is what they call it, is the standard typing. And that is where you find a character on your keyboard or your keypad. Remember, these both work the same on whether it's a keypad or the regular keypad. I can't even think of the name of it. Anyway, standard typing is where you find your character with your finger, and then you lift your finger and you double tap, and you will hear it repeat that character, which means that it has typed it into your text field. Direct and touch typing is much faster once you get used to your keyboard and familiar with where the letters are. You can put your finger on a letter and you can slide around to different ones until you find the right key, and then you lift your finger and it is automatically typed for you. And we didn't talk about it, but another way of typing on your phone is to find a character with one finger and then just tap the screen with another finger, and it will also type that character for you. So now I'm going to give a little quick demo, and one of the easiest places to get into a text field and be able to type something so that you can practice on your keyboard is in the Notes app. So I'm going to open that up. 6:15. Open Notes.
Notes. Note. Text field is editing. Insertion point and start.
Okay, I have to admit to you, I cheated just a little bit because I started Notes earlier, and I swiped down where it says New Note button, and I double tapped on that button, and it instantly opens up a text field for you to type in, and it gives you the on-screen keyboard. And I believe that I also set my typing mode for standard typing. So at this point, okay, so it says Kai Pai, that's what I've got my finger on. So if I'm sorry, I do have it on touch typing because when I lifted my finger, it did tap the I, and I verified that by going to the text field on the Notes and see that it did type the letter. So you can see that this is a much faster way of typing, but I'm going to use the rotor and I'm going to set it back to standard typing.
Words, lines, language, speaking rate, 55%, containers, headings, typing mode, touch typing, direct touch typing, standard typing, insertion point and start of line I.
Okay, so now it's on the standard typing. So now if I put my finger on a letter on the keyboard, I lift my finger and nothing happens. But when I double tap, then the cap H is.
Note, HI.
So now I have HI on my text field. So it's just a matter of once you learn and become familiar, even though you may know the QWERTY keyboard well before you start using your iPhone, using the on-screen keyboard is, of course, still a learning curve from using it on a regular keyboard that you may have for your computer or a typewriter or whatever. So just use it for practice. The standard typing is a great tool to get you familiar with it. But once you get to that, if you switch to the touch typing, it does speed up. And there are places where dictation just is not your friend. And you really do need to learn how to type on your on-screen keyboard. And the same thing goes with the keypad for phone numbers or passcodes or whatever. And remember, if you have it on touch typing and you go to put in a passcode, all you have to do is touch the right character, and the minute you lift your finger, it's going to it's going to type that character. So you won't have an opportunity to change it without going to the delete key to delete. Okay, I think that kind of covers it. So if anybody has any questions now.
Yeah, that is so important. And I can't remember which mode Marie's, like one of them, it gives you that really high pitch, like when it actually enters it is like A and it goes like really high, or is that like a setting?
It is actually, it's when you have cap locks on. If it's a capital letter, when it says the letter, it's a much higher. And both times when I said that, it was a higher voice. I'll type something now and make sure it's not in.
Table button. Note text field is editing. HI insertion point before it. Insertion points at start. Insertion points at end.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I made the insertion point at the end, because if it's the first letter, it's going to capitalize it. So now I'm not going to have it capitalized, so you'll hear a difference in the way the letter's spoken.
H B Bravo B. Note HIB. February 27th. Note text field table button.
It didn't sound like it sounded much different in this particular thing. It just sounded the same to me. But normally when you have a capital letter, it will voice it with a higher pitch.
All right. Who has a question for Marie on different typing modes?
This is Terry. What is the difference between touch typing and direct touch typing? That's a third option, and I think I should know, but I haven't figured that one out yet, what that is.
Well, I'm sorry you asked that question, because I probably should know also, and I don't, because I don't use it and I did know at one time. I checked it out, and it was not something that I thought was intuitive for my use, and so I promptly forgot it.
I'll check it out and let you know if somebody else doesn't know the answer. Thank you.
This is Janet from Colorado.
Go ahead, Janet.
I could tell the high pitch with your capital letter, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have it so loud here for me. It's really, really loud. So it sounded higher than normal. But when I'm normally typing,
the capital is.
When I'm normally typing, I can tell the difference when it's typed a capital letter as opposed to a lowercase letter.
This is Marcia.
Go ahead, Marcia.
The thing that I've noticed, it's nice to get those letters in there, but we got to learn how to delete also. And what I find is that when I put the number in, it has a voice at a certain pitch, and when I delete, it has a lower voice. When I delete a character that I put in.
I hadn't noticed that, but you may be correct. And I know you want to be careful when you do want to delete something, is that you get your cursor over to the right side of the letter. So we want it after the letter, because the delete key is going to delete the character to the left of your cursor.
That's another important point.
Yes. So if you're in the middle of a line and you hit delete, you're gonna delete a character right in the middle of your text entry, whatever. So always, double tap on the text field and listen to whether it says that you are at the start of a line or if you are at the end of the line before you delete something.
And that comes into play when you're in between also.
Yes. Yeah. Be very careful, but always know where your cursor is when you hit the delete key.
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
So the direct typing is basically for those who have low vision that can actually see the keyboard. So when they touch the screen, you get also the verbal notification letting you know you hit the right letter. So it's basically touch typing, but it's whatever you touch, it selects it. You don't have to lift it.
I see. The reason that wasn't helpful for me is because I'm totally blind, so I have no vision. That's why I don't use it. Thank you, Sri.
This Rosetta.
Go ahead, Rosetta.
Okay, so I had to go to get some water, and I missed the part of how you change from standard typing to make it touch when you just lift your finger up and put something in the letter there.
You change that with the rotor. Do you know how to use your rotor?
Yes, I know how to use the rotor.
Okay,
yes.
Whenever you're in a text field, typing mode will be one of the options on your rotor. So you turn your rotor until you hear the word says typing mode, and then it will voice whatever mode you are in. So it will say typing mode standard if you are currently in the standard typing mode. Then you just swipe your finger up or down and change it to touch typing or standard typing, whichever you want. And then you double tap on that.
Okay, and if you don't have typing on your rotor, you can go add it to your rotor, I suppose.
It's always going to be there if you are in a text field. You have to have a text field active for that to be there. But whenever you're in a text field and that is the active element on the screen, you will find the typing mode in your rotor.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, anybody else? If not, I'm going to hand this thing over to...
This is Herbie.
What? Oh, go ahead, Herbie.
I just want to give a plug to 2 more typing modes that aren't in your... They exist in the phone but are not part of the regular typing mode thing, and that is Braille Screen Input, my favorite, and the other one, which I don't use, is handwriting. So there's about, if you include dictation, I'd say about 6 different typing modes altogether that you can use on your phone. So you've got a lot of choices.
Okay.
Is Kathy?
Good, Kathy.
Oh, you did such a good job describing the delete. I wonder if you could mention when you're inserting, like if I go back to correct something and I want to insert a letter, I can never, I mean, I think it's always, it's in a different place depending on whether you're going forward or backward, I think.
Okay, so I'll use a for instance, if the word "the" is at the beginning of your sentence or whatever that you're typing, and you accidentally leave off the E, so you just type TH and then space and you go on to the next word. Then you would put your cursor at the beginning, so you double tap until it says you're at the start of the line, and then you're going to swipe your finger down, and you will be to the right side of the T. Swipe down again, you're on the right side of the H. At that point, just type in your E, and it will be inserted in the point. So you have to swipe up and down until you get, and remember once again that you need to be to the right side of the letter where you want to insert something after that.
So you go to the position, like you would go to the space and then you would put your E in.
No, if it says space, then you would be on the right side of the space. So you would be leaving a space in your word. So you would want to swipe down until you hear the letter H, and then you will be, so your first letter will be T and then H, and then you can type in your E.
Okay.
I know that sounds a little confusing until you're actually doing it.
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
Maybe I misheard you, but VoiceOver will say the character that you pass
I'm sorry, it
over.
does say the character to the right of the cursor instead of the left of the cursor. You're correct.
It says what you pass over. So if you're going in a forward direction, you will hear it, and then you'll hear it again when you go backwards, unlike some other screen readers that only speak when your cursor is to the left of the character. Mm-hmm. So it takes a little adjusting.
It takes a little practice. Just get in a notes field where it doesn't matter, just a new note, and use it to practice on your typing. That's a really good place to use for like a scribble pad.
And this is Sandhya.
Go ahead.
So the other one more point, I know we've talked a lot about editing and it's very important. So just remember in that example, you also have to set your the unit that you're moving by. You have to set either you're moving in your rotor, set it to characters or words or whatever.
Correct.
And then like Brad said and Marie said, you will, depending on which way you're going, if you're swiping up, you're going to be going left. If you're swiping down, you're going right. I mean, I don't know. It's like you do it so automatically, but definitely practice. And it does depend on which way you are going. So, all right. Okay.
And believe it or not, with a little practice, it actually is kind of fun to type on your keyboard on screen.
This is free.
Miss Rosetta. Hello?
Go ahead. 3 first and then Rosetta.
Oh, okay.
The simple rule
hang on, Rosetta.
Oh,
hang on.
I'm sorry.
Go Shree.
The simple rule that I have is if you move right, the cursor will be on the right. If you move left, the cursor will be on the left.
Yeah. Yes. But that's up and down when you're swiping through there. usually, well, you can swipe to right and left too. Yes, I tend to swipe up and down to go back and forth.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead, Rosetta. You have a
Okay.
question?
Yes, I do. So my fingers are very stiff and they don't do well on the on-screen keyboard. They keep getting, I can't stay straight on the row like the home row key, and I'm having problems when I get above the home row key for the letters that are up there. My fingers don't get the right letters, and it takes me a long time to even type on the on-screen keyboard. So I guess this touch thing may help me. I don't know.
I think the standard typing will help some, because you find your character and then you have to double tap. But if you can keep your finger on the screen and move around until you're on the right character, and then just lift your finger and it will automatically type it. But you still do have to learn to navigate around if you want to do any editing or correcting. The other option, of course, is the dictation, but you need to be talking very slowly and very distinctly. Otherwise, you get a lot of errors. And if you have to go in and edit that, that can be a real problem.
All
Okay,
right.
Sandhya, should we move on now?
Yes, we are going
other
to
things?
now hand it over. We are going to start our next segment. Thank you so much, Marie. Very useful iBUG bites there. So now I'm going to hand it over to Herbie for a quick review of, this is when we do a review of a piece of hardware. And then right after that, we'll resume with our Q&A. So go for it, Herbie.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the iToy segment. I'm going to talk about a neat little thing that I got for Christmas, and that is a UC OMX 3-in-1 wireless charging pad. And this can charge your phone, phone, Apple Watch, and AirPods. And what's a couple things that's neat about it is it's actually foldable, so that makes it very easy for travel purposes. And so it's a great thing to carry around with you. So let's say you go to a hotel and you don't know what your plug situation is going to be, and you don't necessarily want to carry around a power strip. Well, now you have a smaller, much more portable solution. When it folds out, it's a kind of a long rectangle. It has the iPhone charger bit on, depending on, well, you can, if you have the plug facing you where you plug it in, then the iPhone charger pad is on the right. The Apple Watch one is in the middle, and the AirPods are on the left. And the way it works is on the iPhone charger, there is a small circular pad that you place the iPhone on, and I forgot to check if this works with non-MagSafe phones, but it definitely, like mine, definitely aligns with the magnet, so that I can know that it's charging, and of course the phone will make its charging sound. The watch has a little hinge that you flip up, and then you place the watch on it, so it sticks to the watch like a magnet. And then the AirPods, you just place the case on there, and it'll start charging on the far left, and it is a smooth surface. Right now, it's actually on sale, so if you get it right this second, you might be able to get it off Amazon for about $30-some. The original price is $60, and I kind of like it. It plugs in, it has a plug in the middle. Like I said, it's just like a little USB-C type plug that the one end plugs into the unit, and the other end plugs into a little power brick that will go into any outlet. Wireless charging has its advantages. It definitely leaves your ports open on the phone, so let's say if you use any wired headphones, for instance, then you can do that. But it can be a little bit challenged to, say, use your phone while it is charging. So it's really more ideal for overnight, or if you're not intending to use your phone. And with that, I will take questions.
All right. Any questions for Herbie?
This is Shri.
Yes, Shri.
So Herbie, does it lay flat or is it still vertical when it's charging?
It is what flat? The charger
phone.
itself?
The
Or
phone.
the phone. The phone is completely flat.
Okay. The reason I have tried when the MagSafe is laying flat, I am able to get my 8 Plus to charge if I can line it up correctly. I can't get it to work when it's vertical, but I can get it sometimes to work when it's flat.
This one is this one is definitely flat. The only thing that is not flat is the way the Apple Watch charges, because you have to flip up the magnetic circle to put the watch on.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the phone itself and the AirPods are both flat.
And is the AirPod, is that wireless or is it actually plugging into a lightning port?
Wireless.
Okay.
So you have to have AirPods that support the wireless charging for that to work.
And it supports fast charging?
I think it does. I would have to double check. And
Thank you.
I will try to
Thank
find
you.
that out. Yep.
This is Sandhya.
Yes.
How much is it, did you say?
So
you said $30.
Today it's 30. This is and Amazon has a deal on it right now. I guess they heard I was going to be talking about it. Otherwise, the original price is like 60. So,
all right. Okay.
But that I'm sure Amazon will have other sales too on it. If you miss this one, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I do see a lot of Amazon sales. So,
okay. All right.
This is Helene.
Yes.
What is it called?
UCOMX 3-in-1 charger.
That just rolls right off.
Nano 3-in-1 charger. So stupid. UCOMX Nano 3-in-1 wireless charger.
This is Shri.
Yes.
Does it have a brick or it's just a USB at the other end and you have to have a brick?
It comes with the brick.
Okay, great. Thank you.
But I would imagine that would give you the advantage of, let's say you travel to another country that has a different voltage, you could probably get a brick that would work for that, so you could just plug in your USB into that particular brick, if that makes sense. But it definitely comes with one. And the brick is a little bit on the bulky side. I wish it was a little bit smaller. So just a fair warning, but it's still, like I said, a lot less hassle than, say, like a power strip. So
this is Sandhya.
Else? Yes.
Could you describe can you give the approximate dimensions? Is it like a power strip then, or?
Oh, it's way smaller because it comes in 2 dimensions, small or big, because you can fold it up.
Okay.
To make it really small for like traveling, and then you can and then it folds outwards when you want to actually use it.
So does it look like a keyboard or like what? Like how?
I'd say it's about the size, lengthwise, about the size of a keyboard. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Herbie. Any other final questions for Herbie? It's very cool. Definitely, guys. After this call, don't jump off the call. Go and get on Amazon after the call. Okay. All right. Thanks, Herbie. Okay. Now, who's got questions that we want to? Anybody who didn't have a turn during the first part of the call, we'd love to hear from you.
This is Jody.
Go ahead, Jody.
Hi, Sandhya.
Hi.
I've got an answer to Helene's question about the notifications for banners or for text messages.
Okay.
I was curious. So you want to go to settings, you want to go to notification, go down to messages, and turn on your banners and your alerts and your sounds and the whole thing for messages, and you'll get all the stuff. And then it shows up on my phone on the lock screen, which is, I was curious to how that worked, so I went in and checked.
All right, and I think there's great. So yeah,
this is Brad.
Go, Brad.
There's also a setting in VoiceOver under verbosity to tell VoiceOver to read those aloud when they come in. You want to make sure that's turned on as well.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
All right, good job. Okay, Helene's going to be getting all of her messages now, so very good. Thanks, y'all, for checking that out. Okay, who's next? New question.
D.
Go, D.
Okay, I got a watch question.
That seems pretty popular tonight. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. On the fitness part, the exercise and all.
Nope, sorry, we don't do exercise here. Go on. Go on, D. Go on.
Okay. Well,
Go on.
mine's not registering all the time that I'm exercising.
Oh, sure.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
And that's, yeah, that, I don't really like that because, man, if I'm going to do a half a minute, I want credited a half a minute.
All right, so let's see.
Okay.
Who would like to help D? Why is her exercise not getting registered? Maybe.
This is Herbie.
Oh, Herbie.
When you say it's not registering your exercise, are you talking about a specific workout that you were doing or just walking around and wanting it to count as exercise?
I'm talking about the fitness app, the exercise I'm doing. Oh, and this is D. I'm sorry.
Because the reason I ask is because there's when you're actually working out, like for instance, when I do the treadmill, I will tell the watch to start the indoor walk so it actually knows to monitor and give me statistics that are specific to an indoor walk. Or if I'm going to go walk the track at the center, I'll tell it to do an outdoor walk or that type of thing. As for regular exercises, just moving around or whatever, the watch will just monitor that. And we talked about some useful hacks like the other day, how to fool it with a stand goal, for instance. So.
Oh, hang on. I think she's asking. So you are in the actual fitness app, D, and you are doing a specific.
Well,
workout?
on my phone, I click on workout.
Okay.
It's one of the complications. I click on workout, and if I'm doing the treadmill or the exercise bike, it's not, and it doesn't register all the time that I'm walking.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts as to why? We've already tried like resetting and repairing and all that regular stuff, or not?
We did.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts? Assuming D is really working out, we better get all that credit. I totally get that. So
this is D. I was hoping Nancy'd be here because she could do this probably.
Okay.
This is Shri.
Go, Shri.
So D, how does it know that you're trying to do one type of exercise if you just turn the workout on?
Of course, I click on indoor walking, or I click on standard, indoor cycling.
Okay, so you are physically turning one of those exercises on. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that is.
This is David.
Go, David.
Could it be that you're not like clicking the start button? I mean, I'm not.
This is D.
Go ahead.
No, it always starts because it does a countdown. I'll go 3, 2, 1. I'll let you know that it's starting.
Okay.
This is Herbie.
Go, Herbie.
I keep going until I tell it to stop. Now, there is a thing where it'll pause. I think, if you stop for a while, it might, it could pause the time. But so it's not giving you any time at all, or is it just not counting all of your activity? Like you did 20 minutes, only counts 10 minutes. I guess I'm not understanding what you mean by it's not. Like, is it just counting a partial workout or not counting nothing at all? Or
go ahead.
Yes, what I'm saying is I might ride the bike for 30 minutes and it might give me credit for 23.
Okay. All right. David, any other thoughts on that? It's like maybe you said pausing or something, but she's not pausing.
I don't know if you have to be going a certain miles per hour for it to keep, considering you as biking.
This is Herbie.
Okay, go, Herbie.
So several thoughts I have. One, I'd wear the watch as tight as you possibly can. That'll probably, you want it to be really snug. So make sure you're doing that. The other thing I can think of, and I don't know if it's a factor now, but it certainly used to be, and that it used to be you had to calibrate the watch with an outdoor walk. and that gave it the data it needed to be more accurate. And I don't know if that's still the case or not, but that is certainly something, if you are able to try, I would
This
do.
is D. It does say to do that before you do your first indoor cycle. I mean, before you do
Yes.
your first indoor walk, but it doesn't say anything about cycling.
I didn't think it did, but I mean, I go back to 2015, so you know they're little gray cells.
Okay. All right.
But that's the only other thing I can think of.
All right. Thank you. Okay, Dee, we're going to have to, I don't know, we'll have to figure this one out. Let us know. Keep trying. Okay. All right. Next.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Dee. Good question. Good job. You're working out. Okay. Next question. Somebody new hasn't had a turn.
This is Marcia.
Go ahead, Marcia.
How do I send a text, forward a text to an email?
Nobody's going
This is Shri.
Go, Shri.
I believe you can do a one finger triple tap on the message, and you should get one of the prompts is forward.
Really?
She wants to forward it to an email, though.
Yeah, doesn't it? If you do a forward, doesn't it brings up the sheet, or am I wrong?
It's just Brad.
Brad.
No, it just allows you to forward it to another text message recipient. I think the best answer here is if you go to the particular text message, the particular item in the text message conversation that you want to forward, there is an item in your actions rotor that says copy, and it will copy that entire, message. It could be one paragraph, one line, 2 or 3 paragraphs. It could be long, it could be short, and it will copy it to your clipboard on your iPhone, and then you can open up the mail app on the iPhone and paste it into a new mail message.
All right.
I don't believe
good
you can do it another way.
Very good, Brad. So yeah, there you go, Marcia.
This is Shri.
I saw edit and I went to text and select all, but I couldn't find copy.
Okay.
This is Brad.
Go, Brad.
Put your finger on the item you want to forward, and then make sure your rotor is set to actions. It usually is by default. And then flick up or down until you get to copy. When you hear it say copy, do a one finger double tap, and you copied it to the clipboard, and then you can go to your mail and paste it in a new mail message.
This is Herbie.
Okay, hang on. I think that what she said is she selected it, but then you have to use your rotor.
You don't need to
select.
You don't need to select it.
Oh.
Just put your finger on the message, go to actions, flick up or down till you hit copy, and do a one finger double tap, and that copies it.
So you don't need to be in the rotor. That's what we're saying. Okay, go, Shri.
No, I mean, you have to use the rotor to go to actions,
right,
which it should be by default.
Right.
And then flick up or down, and you'll hear it say copy, and you did not have to select it because it's not editable.
Right.
So you can't select text. It has to be in an editable text field to select text.
Okay, go ahead, Shri.
I was going to say, I guess I could have done a 2-finger double tap and hold and got to, an editable field. And there, I'd get like text selection and copy and so forth. But one thing I did want to suggest, I've been playing around with, these gestures that we can create. I've done a 4-finger swipe up to copy and 4-finger swipe down to paste. It makes it a lot easier doing copy and paste.
Okay, but that's something you created. But okay, let's go back to her basic question is how to. So basically, the answer to your question is, Marcia, you cannot forward the message to an email. Okay, so what Brad is saying is you are going to copy whatever message it is that you want with, whatever gesture you want to use. We've gone over a few, and then you can go into a new email, copy it into there, and then send it that way. That's just the overall summary of what we just talked about. Okay. All right. Great question, Marcia. Good job. Okay. Who's next? Somebody new hasn't had a turn.
This is Marie.
Go, Marie.
I have a question, and it may sound like kind of a funny question. I don't currently have an Apple Watch, but I have tried them in the past. And my problem is that my wrist down close to my hands are very, very, very small. And The Apple Watch is, even the smallest watch, is very uncomfortable for me, but I love it for fitness workouts and so forth. What I want to know is if I wore it up higher on my arm, would I still be able, would the sensor still work for the readings for the fitness apps and so forth?
All right, who wants to take that one? Another Apple Watch question.
This is Jody.
Hello, Jody.
I don't have a watch and I really don't know, but I'm gonna guess that it probably won't, because if it's gonna be keep track of your pulse, and that it's gonna need to be near your wrist to pick up your pulse.
That's Marie, and that's kind of my idea as why I haven't tried another one, but I thought maybe somebody might have done it at some time or another and know the answer.
This is Terry.
Oh, Terry.
The answer is yes, because I have exactly the same problem, and I can move my watch up 4 fingers width from the bottom of my hand to the bottom of the band on the watch, and I have no problem measuring my pulse and a lot of when you're doing exercises anyhow, you're moving your arms, and your watch is detecting that motion as well. So it's been my experience that yes, you can.
Right. Yes, you can. Good job,
This is Shri.
Marie. All right, go, Shri.
Maria, you might want to also try taking a look at the Velcro straps as well as a buckle strap instead of the sports strap.
I've had the Velcro straps. They're all uncomfortable. They just, to get it, snug on my wrist. My wrists are so small, I have to just double it over, and they're just not comfortable.
This is Shri.
Sandhya. Oh, go, Shri.
No, I'm just saying, I use a buckle strap, and I have a pretty small wrist too, and I find it a lot easier using the buckle strap.
This is Sandhya. Have you tried the one with the links? I don't know. I think it's a Milanese loop. Have you tried that, Marie? That's the one I have. You didn't like that either. Okay. All right, Goldilocks. We can't help you.
This is Helene.
Go, Helene.
I also have very small wrist, and I got and I don't love anything grabbing my wrist, but I have the one that I had to pay $70 on sale, and it was an expensive. It's called the Unity Band, and it has I bought a size 3, and it's small, and it stretches, and that's how you put it on. And you might want to try the Unity Band.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Helene. All right, next. New question.
So this is Herbie.
Wait, who? Yes, who?
Me, Herbie.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Herbie.
So, I was curious because when we were talking about mentioning copying a message, is there a difference between copying a message the way that you mentioned, Brad, versus doing the voiceover copy with the 3-finger quadruple tap?
This is Brad.
Go, Brad.
Well, the 3-finger quadruple tap, you have to get it to read the whole thing. If it pauses or starts over or something, and yeah, that may work, but I've just found that with a message, there is an item in the actions, in actions in the rotor that will copy. So it probably, is the same thing in the end, maybe, probably.
Okay. Very good. Who's next? New question. Who would like to go? Getting close.
This is Terry.
Go ahead.
I haven't asked a question. I think I have.
Go ahead.
I don't know. Anyway, I was trying to send an email the other day in which I needed to copy a link to that email so that other people could get to the website. And I couldn't get it to work. And there's a way where you do the tap and hold to get it to work, but I still can't get it to work. And so I wonder what I know it's operator error. I want to, the idea is I want to copy a message, an email, but I need the link to actually be usable.
Okay, Brad?
You're trying to copy a link from where?
I'm trying to copy an email that has a link in it to
you just
a website.
Want the link or the whole email?
I need the whole email, and I can copy the email and send it out, but the link does, when you double tap on the link, it doesn't even show the link. So
and you're running iOS 16, aren't you?
No.
Oh, because there's a new thing in iOS 16. It doesn't show links like it used to. Have you actually sent the email first?
Yes.
And then it's not there when you go to your sent items and look at it.
It's there, but the other people don't see the link because it doesn't show up.
The other people, it doesn't show up at all?
Correct. It'll read the text and it'll read what the link is supposed to, what it says, but it doesn't say link. And so you can't activate the link. And I know there's a not a double tap, just I believe it's a tap and hold feature that you're supposed to be able to do before you send out the email that will activate that link once it's received.
Heard of that. What?
And it is not working for me. It's worked for other people, but not for me.
And you're copying this from an email in the mail, the standard stock Apple Mail app on your iPhone, right?
Yes.
And you're sending it in a new email on your iPhone, and the person who's receiving it is on their iPhone.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I don't know about any double tap or anything to activate a link. If you copy,
it's a tap and hold.
Yeah, I've never had to do that. I've never heard of. If it's in that email, you go to that email and you copy the entire body of the email.
Yep.
And then you paste it into another email and send it, right?
I forward it.
You're forwarding it.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah, I don't know about having to do anything to activate an email. It should be, and the person on the other end.
Right.
Nobody is receiving it.
Are they a voiceover user?
Yes.
Tell them to try setting their rotor to links and swiping down.
Oh no, that it doesn't work.
All right, hang on, go Shri. We're gonna have to wrap it up. Go Shri.
Terry, so when you look at your sent item, is it still showing them as the link?
No.
So when you went to your sent item, that email is not showing up as a link?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that explains why they're not seeing, because as soon as you
the email is showing up, but the link that's in the email
the link is gone.
Showing up.
It's not a hyperlink anymore.
It's not a hyperlink anymore. It's just a text.
Right. Yes.
All right. Okay, guys.
Sorry.
Any quick?
This is Shri.
Go Shri.
You might want to check to see if some of your settings. I'd have to take a look to see if the hyperlink keeps it active when you forward an email.
Because I know somebody else who did it and it worked just fine for him.
This is Brad.
Go, Brad.
Is there any reason that you're trying to send the entire email, or do you just want the link?
I want to send the entire email so they have all the details of what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
This is Herbie with a quick solution.
Okay, go, and then we're gonna quit.
So if you have, I think you have multiple devices. So my suggestion is, why not update one of them to iOS 16, and then try doing the same thing and see if you still have the error or not, and that would tell you if updating would fix the problem you're having. So that's my thought.
Or this is Sandhya. Another alternative is to just select the link information and copy that to your clipboard, I guess, and then put it at the bottom of the email. I don't know.
I thought about that, but I thought my solution
okay.
was
All right. Well, with that, we are going to wrap it up. Thank you so very much. Marie was our co-facilitator tonight. Thank you very much, Marie.
You're welcome.
All right.
My pleasure.
And we had lots of good
Great
questions.
job.
Everybody participating. That's what we love. Thank you, Herbie, for the iChoice demo. And we, best of all, we just love everybody, helping, answering questions, asking questions, because otherwise there wouldn't really be any purpose for us to be here. All right, quick review of this week. We said busy week. So we have 2 events, Clubhouse Mini Buzz at 5. And then in the evening, Mac and Talk. And then Wednesday we're off. Thursday is Trekkie Talk. And Fridays, iBUG Not Other Virtual Movies. We're watching a classic movie, 12 Angry Men. And then on Saturday, it is iBUG Unplugged, talking about my favorite things. So with that, we are going to say goodnight. Have a great week. We're about to end the month of February. So next week, it'll be March. All right. Good night.